So am I under arrest?
Yes, you're under arrest.
Getting back to the cell. I don't talk to you motherfuckers.
Okay.
Who would have thought that there would come a time when the detectives would be beaten at their own game? In 2011, on the streets of Georgia, there was a robbery at a local 7-Eleven. However, when the cops arrived, there was no suspect in sight. When they combed through the streets, they came across a known addict holding a gun, and immediately, he became their main suspect. However, little did they know that this man would be their worst nightmare. Jeff, who has grown to become an internet sensation because of this interrogation, seemed to know how the system worked then, and with that knowledge, he beat the detectives at their own game. By the time the detectives brought him into the interrogation room, they had already charged him with armed robbery of the local 7-Eleven, and because he was a resident of Georgia, he was facing a minimum of at least 10 years in prison if he was found guilty of this. By this time, he had already been through the judicial system a lot of times, thanks to his heroin addiction. From the moment he was brought into the interrogation room, it was clear he was not there to play detective games. As you watch the interrogation, he claims that he was wrongfully arrested at his friend's house, which made the robbery charge a result of an unfair arrest. And it even gets to the point where he says he won't talk to the police. After walking in, the very first thing Jeff does is ask whether he is under arrest.
Am I under arrest?
For now.
I'm under arrest?
Yeah, I'll explain everything, but before I explain myself to you.
As we all know, maybe from general knowledge or from movies, before the interrogation begins, the detective or officer interrogating you has to read the Miranda rights to the suspect and ensure that they understand. After the detective reads the rights, he asks Jeff to explain what happened. However, Jeff is unwilling to answer any questions whatsoever.
If you got something that says you didn't do this robbery, this is your chance to talk to us.
Okay, good cop.
No, usually I'm the prick.
You look like the prick.
Next, he starts teasing the cop about whether he is a good cop.
Okay, good cop.
No, usually I'm the prick.
You look like the prick.
I am.
The next time Jeff asks the officer whether he is under arrest, the officer confirms it, and what Jeff did was quite smart.
So am I under arrest?
Yes, you're under arrest.
Getting back to the cell. I don't talk to you motherfuckers.
Okay.
The moment the detective confirms that he is under arrest, Jeff just stands up and asks to be taken back to his cell. At this moment, as per the rights, there is nothing that the cops can do but adhere to them, so they just take him back to his cell without question. The next time Jeff was brought into the small windowless room, the detective brought him a Coke. At this point, you can see that Jeff is not really okay. He seems to be experiencing withdrawal symptoms, given that he is still an addict.
I need methadone.
You need methadone? I don't have any. Do you have medication for it, or a prescription for it?
Shortly after this, Jeff asks for methadone. As we all know, methadone is mostly used to reduce the effects of withdrawal symptoms. However, the officer refuses to give him any medical help.
You need methadone? I don't have any. Do you have medication for it, or a prescription for it? How long you been using heroin?
Long time, buddy.
The officer then starts interrogating Jeff, but he doesn't say a word. It even gets to a point where he says that he doesn't talk to the police.
Talk to the police, man.
I think it's in your best interest to.
How? I don't talk to
you're
the
sitting
police.
here.
When the officer tries to push Jeff, he retaliates by telling him that he is not his friend.
I'm not your friend.
You're trying to fucking get me, or you're
No,
trying
I'm
to...
not.
No.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to sign it.
You don't have to sign it. So let me read it for you.
He even tells the story of how he was arrested, claiming that it was wrong. During the whole interrogation, Jeff knows that if he says the wrong thing, it could land him in bigger trouble. However, from the interrogation, we can tell that the cops are aware of his past because at some point, they even try to hang it on him so that he can say something.
Can and will be used against me
Sure, but anything you say here, I can also tell you.
for robbery tomorrow. So what the fuck?
They tried different techniques once the officers realized they wouldn't get anything from him. They were just desperate for an answer, and to show that Jeff didn't really care about his interrogation, he asked for a Butterfinger. We don't really know what a Butterfinger has to do with this interrogation. Still, we know that 12 hours later, Jeff was walking out of the police station with no charges whatsoever. The cops tried everything, but Jeff was never going to say anything that would jeopardize him. That is the legend of Jeff, the man who beat the system. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos. Thanks for watching.